Dear friends, my name is Nausheen Nizami and I'm here to discuss with you how to determine the price of a factor of production or the price of inputs. We are going to limit our discussion to the case of perfect competition. So this topic is a part of the broader topic, which is the theory of marginal productivity and factor pricing, and we are trying to find out that how after the market demand curve and market supply curve have been obtained, the factor price can be determined. In order to understand that, we need to know that what is the process of determination of factor price. The first step is deriving the market factor demand curve, which is the aggregate demand curve for the factor. Second step is deriving the aggregate factor supply curve, or what you know as market factor supply curve. Whichever is the factor, it can be labor, it can be land, it can be capital. And then after the market factor demand curve and market factor supply curve have been obtained, there is a need to plot them in one common graph and note the point of intersection of both the curves. On the basis of that, equilibrium factor price and equilibrium employment level for that factor of production can be obtained. Now, before we actually understand it with the help of diagram, let us discuss what are the determinants of factor demand curve. So the first determinant is the price of factor itself. So if we consider the factor as labor, then the price of labor is wage rate. Depending upon how much is the wage rate, the demand for labor would be made by the firms or by the employers. So generally, if the ongoing wage rate is high, the demand for labor is low, because then it becomes more costlier or expensive for the firms to hire that factor. Second factor is marginal physical product of factor. So this in general is dependent on the production function. You can obtain it by plotting the production function and taking the slope of it. So marginal product of factor basically can be marginal product of labor or marginal product of capital or marginal product of land. Any factor can be used to calculate its marginal product. In general, the definition is that how much is the change in total output being made by the change in a particular factor of production. So if we discuss about marginal product of labor, we would be calculating that how much the change in output is being contributed by the change in 1 unit of labor. The third determinant of factor demand curve is price of commodity itself, which is being produced by the factor. This component is very useful because it can help us to check the value addition done by the additional unit of labor. The fourth factor is quantity of other factors used with a variable factor. So in general, when the variable factor, the quantity of variable factor has to be increased for producing goods and services by a firm, they may also require quantity of other factors which work in combination with the variable factor. So supposingly if labor as a resource is becoming cheaper because of a fall in wage rate, labor needs to be combined with capital, land and other factors, other inputs, raw materials, in order to maximize the gains from employing more quantity of variable factor. So this particular step depends on the availability of the quantity of other factors, and together if more factors are combined with the variable factor, it generally leads to an increase in the value of marginal product of labor. And the fifth factor is price of other factors. So a firm would decide to increase the quantity of other factors which are used with the variable factor only if the price of other factors of production is low. If the other inputs are costlier, the firm may not decide to increase the quantity or may just buy lesser quantity of other factors. The last determinant of factor demand curve is technological progress. So in general, an improvement in technological progress leads to an improvement in the marginal product of labor also. Let's check what are the determinants of factor supply curve. So the first determinant is price of factor itself. So if we take the case of labor, the price of labor is wage rate. So if the wage rate is high, you will generally find that the factor supply curve, or the willingness of a person to supply labor services would be more. So there is a positive relationship between price of factor and supply of factor. The second determinant is tastes of consumers. Here, consumers can be basically taken as the people who the persons who supply labor services. So depending upon the taste of such persons, or taste of, you can say, such household members, the supply is made. What do we understand by taste? So taste basically means your choice for work and leisure. So if a person wants to is a workaholic person, they would want to work more and may not devote a lot of time in leisure, while there may be people who actually devote more time for leisure and less time for work. So all these choices also differ from person to person, and that affects the supply of labor. The third factor is size of population. So if the population is very high in a country or in a region, generally the factor supply curve, particularly labor supply curve, would be more, because there would be more people willing to work. The fourth very important factor is labor force participation rate. So labor force participation rate is obtained by dividing the total labor force with the total economically active population. Now, what is labor force? Labor force basically includes both the working people and the people who are actively seeking work, while economically active population basically implies people who are in the age group of say 15 to 65 years. So they are not falling in the category of child labor or dependents. So these are the people who are economically active, and ideally they also constitute as the potential labor force. But not necessarily all the people in a country who belong to this age group of 15 to 65 may be working. Some of them choose to reskill, some of them choose to go for higher education, some of them withdraw themselves from labor force because of household responsibilities, particularly the case of women. So some may not be keeping uh, health wise, may not be keeping well, may not be healthy. So there may be multiple reasons why some people, despite belonging to the economically active age group, may not be either working or actively seeking work. So labor force participation rate, if it is high, the factor supply curve is also high. So there is a positive association between labor force participation rate and market factor supply curve. And the last factor which determines market factor supply curve is occupational, educational and geographic distribution of labor force. By occupational distribution of labor force, it implies that supposingly a country has more people who are working as engineers, uh, and may have less people working say as teachers, or a country may have more people who are working in say legal services or commercial activities, so they belong to business community, and less people who are say working as management. So depending upon the occupational distribution of labor force, we may have more market factor supply curve in one occupation compared to others. Another factor is educational distribution of labor force, and here you divide the labor force on the basis of their levels of education. Say how many are having education up to 5th standard, then up to 10th standard, up to 12th standard, graduation, post graduation, doctoral, postdoctoral. So you can divide the labor force, and doing this division and doing this distribution basically helps us is knowing that how much is the skill factor, how many people are highly skilled, how many are medium skilled and low skilled people. Can be that information can be inferred from educational distribution of labor force. And another distribution which is directly linked to market factor supply curve is geographic distribution. So there is a possibility that in a country, not all the areas may be equal in population density. There are certain regions which may have, say, more of hilly areas or forest cover, so the residential population may be low, and if residential population is low, then that may also reduce the factor availability, the labor supply availability in that area. Some areas are densely populated, so you will have more people willing to supply their labor services. So if we take the case of India, northern India is highly populated. You can even divide geographical distribution in states. So UP may be highly populated compared to some northeastern states. So depending on that, in that particular state labor supply may be more, and in some other states labor supply may be less. Now let's try to understand the determination of market factor supply curve with the help of diagrams. So in this diagram we have plotted labor, quantity of labor on x-axis, wage rate on y-axis, and the demand for labor is negatively sloped, and the supply of labor is positively sloped. So in the long run, demand curve for labor is negative, and as we have discussed it earlier, it is obtained by combining various value of marginal product of labor curves, VMPL curves. Now wherever these two curves are intersecting, that point is noted, that is the equilibrium point, and on the basis of it equilibrium wage rate is obtained, which is the factor price, and equilibrium quantity of the factor is obtained, so how much labor would actually be employed by the firms, that is obtained. Now a point to be noted in deriving the factor price in perfectly competitive markets is that the demand of a factor is different from demand of output, because demand of factor is a derived demand. So only if the demand for output is increasing, the demand for labor would increase, because labor would be needed to produce more output. Similarly, supply of factor is different from supply of output. Supply of output is directly determined on the basis of price. So higher the price, higher would be the supply. But supply of labor is determined on the basis of the choices which human beings make, the choices which labor force makes in allocating time for work and leisure. So these tastes of workers determine the supply of labor. So that is how, considering both the determinants of market demand curve and market supply curve, one can obtain the factor price. I hope you could understand this topic. All of you take care, and let's meet again soon. Till then, all of you have a great time. Thank you.